Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Andrew Santiago, and we are here at A&J Media with a very special guest from Propel Pequannock, the president, Paul Mailer. Thank you for joining us, Paul. How's it
Andrew,
going?
pleasure to be here in this beautiful studio. This is really an incredible place.
I just came across, we met through Instagram.
Yep.
I sent a message, and, lo and behold, like I saw Propel, and I was like, I was just curious and wanted to know more because I've been a resident of Pequannock now for over 15 years.
Okay.
Right? So when I see something different, something new, I'm like, I'm curious. So tell me a little bit about Propel.
Well, our formal name is Propel Pequannock, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. That's how we registered. And Propel, we're known as Propel around town, and Propel stands for Pequannock Residents of Pride, Equity, and Leadership. And our mission, really, what we're trying to do is promote kindness. We'd like people to be or create a more welcoming environment in the town without regard to gender or religion or race or sexual orientation. That's what we're looking to do, and that's why we created the organization. And I founded the organization with a friend, Sharon Ramella, and we became concerned about hearing about stories of bias, first person stories of bias.
First person bias in Pequannock.
Yeah, yeah,
Really? Our small town.
yeah. And so, for example, we spoke to a young man who had been bullied in high school because he's gay, and he continued to be bullied after graduating. The kids that bullied him in high school followed him around town after graduation.
Now, how long ago was this?
The first conversation would have been 5 or 5.5 years ago.
So it wasn't even that long ago
No, it's not.
because
It's not long ago at all.
because
Yeah.
you hear how many times, especially in today's world where, everybody's against bullying.
Yep.
And the idea is to just turn around and be like, no, 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 be kind unto be
Yeah.
kind to others. That's really the goal. So to hear that as recently as 5 years ago is very, very surprising.
We were kind of shocked with it all, really. But we also found, as we began to talk to people, we spoke to an interracial couple
Okay.
in town whose little girl was asked as they were waiting online for lemonade, what are you doing here? And an Asian woman who had a finger stuck in her face and was told, you don't belong here. So we reacted kind of, shocked to learning those things. And Sharon and I talked about it, and we just said, we got to try to do something about this. So we weren't sure really what to do, and first thing we did is just started a Facebook page
Okay.
and invited people that we learned about, to participate. Kind of a place to come to share your frustrations and your concerns and your fears.
Yes.
So we closed that page, so that people could feel comfortable to come and share those things. And the Pompton Valley is a beautiful place to live, and
Yes.
Pequannock is a lovely town. We have great schools, we have beautiful parks, and it really is a lovely place to be. But it's not the Nirvana that it's made out to be. It's not perfect. And we just think that we should be able to talk about the fact that it's not perfect and talk about it openly and talk about how we can make it better.
Exactly. I mean, listen, there is no place in this world that is perfect.
Right.
Every place has them, has flaws. Everybody has, their sour apples in the group, to say the least, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's the way I say it because Pequannock is a very nice town,
Yep, for
right?
sure.
But I always say this to everybody, just like you could have a very successful business or you could have a very, amazing town, but there's always room for improvement.
Sure.
There's always room for growth. I mean, Michael Jordan got 6 championship rings. That doesn't mean he missed practice.
Right, yeah.
Like
yeah, he still had to practice.
you still had to practice. You
Yeah.
won championships, you win rings, you do this, but growth and improvement is something that's important.
Yeah.
So when we met for the first time and we were actually just sitting down and talking, it was surprising in our town because you see a very welcoming atmosphere.
Yep.
And then you have something like this, especially in today's like modern age, where somebody could be bullied and followed around and harassed for something as simple as, being gay or sexual orientation, right?
Right.
And then when you talk about things about what you just said now, right? Kindness. That's something that, especially in our community, is highlighted when you're seeing through the schools.
Right.
And, respect for one another
Yep.
is highlighted through the schools and even in the community. So it was very, very eye opening. And like I said, surprising to see, events like this take place in our town when it's really like, hey, be kind to your neighbor kind of bill.
Yeah. I guess our belief is that we can accomplish our mission through kindness.
Yes.
That if we overlay everything that we do with an idea of how can we learn to be kind to one another, can we accomplish that idea of treating everyone with respect and so on. And we as you said, we incorporated like 5 years ago. We eventually got our 501c3, which took a while.
Yes.
Because we didn't have the money to spend for a lawyer to do it. And as you can imagine, dealing with the federal government can be tough sometimes.
Yes.
But we did eventually get our 501c3 and our EIN number so that donations now are tax deductible. And of course, we're a corporation, so we have a group of
You have a board.
executives. Yeah.
You have a president. Yes.
Sharon's our vice president. Allison Sana is our secretary. Sally Basile is our treasurer. And we have a support group of really active people that are incredibly helpful. I mean, Randy Shamber from Shamrock School of Music is our social equity director and does an incredible job for us. Maria Shanley is our mental health outreach person and our creative expert, by the way. She does some great work for us. Patrick Shanley, her husband, is our webmaster. And I'll talk a little bit about him when we talk about our QR to mental health program.
Yes.
And we have a new volunteer, Sierra Classens, a young woman that hopefully will bring an infusion of youth into the organization, because certainly we could use that.
At the end of the day, you want to be able to reach, all generations.
Right.
And every generation has went through their own kind of, challenges as they went.
Yeah.
That's just it. So everybody sometimes believe, well, my generation had it the roughest coming up, or it's all just different time periods for what you were going through.
Yeah.
On the topic of just bullying, for example, right? And a little bit of mental health, but on the topic of bullying, this was said on one of the podcasts, and it points out, and I want to say it again, because it's very true. In the past, if you had a bully,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You got bullied at school. You went in, you had your, 9 to 3. Unfortunately, somebody was picking on you, somebody was bothering you. Perhaps a fight broke out.
Yep.
That's really what it was, right?
Yep.
Somebody went home with a bloody nose or something like this. It's a little old school, I know, but that's really what happened in the past.
Yeah.
Right? But then you went home.
And
right?
it was over.
And it was over.
Yeah.
You knew that when you walked through that door, either your parents said, hey, you had a rough day.
Yep.
What happened to this kid? Let me go talk to this kid's parents. Why is this happening? Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Let's fix the problem. Now, when you get bullied, now there's no disconnect because of social media.
It's 24/7.
It's 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why, unfortunately, we do see a higher rate, in the loss of lives
Yep.
for youths.
Yeah.
And we look at and not to spin it negatively here, but, you look at the 14, 15-year-old and you wonder why this kid would do something like that. They have their whole life ahead of them.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like, I need it to be over. And even then, when you look at things like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, it's like kids don't understand that when you put up a post, that post is out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I'll use a little back in the day comparison too, right? We went to a party. You had a good time at the party. Maybe there was a Polaroid at the party. You might have taken a picture at the party, right?
Yeah.
If somebody had a camera, and if you got that film printed, for anybody watching this, we had to get it printed. But now you put up a post, tag location, this is where you were at.
Yeah.
You could get suspended from playing sports.
Yeah.
You could, all this stuff, it's just heavy consequences.
Our first foray into town, if you will, the exposure into the town at large was the creation of the PrideFest.
PrideFest.
And yeah, the which we call an outdoor celebration of kindness, and it's held at Greenview Park, first Saturday of June. And we celebrated our fourth annual Pride Fest this past June.
Excellent.
And our sponsors, we have an incredible array of sponsors. It's really, we're blessed to have so many organizations willing to help us out, not the least of which is Shamrock School of Music.
Excellent.
And Randy Shamber is a former president of the Chamber of Commerce. In addition to being the owner of Shamrock School of Music, he's former president of the Chamber of Commerce, and he was involved in starting the street fair in town. And managed the street fair for years, so he knows how to manage an event. Back in March of what would it be, 22, he said to us, "We should do an event. Let's have a Pride Fest. Let's do it in June." And I thought he was out of his mind, but he said, "No, we can do this. We can get it done." And sure enough, the first Saturday of June in 22 was our first Pride Fest, and it wouldn't exist without Randy. And this year, our event title sponsor was Scanlan's, where life is celebrated.
Okay.
And Kira Scanlan Westbestad has created this incredible celebrate life environment, and not just in her business, but in the town at large as well. So her booth was at the entrance area to Pride Fest this past June. And she had a camera booth, where she took pictures to be the eye in kind.
Nice.
So if you will, you stood where the eye is in kind, and K and D was next to you, and they had so much fun doing that. So she's an inspiration, really, for kindness, and really has taken the mission to heart. We have TD Bank has been a 4-year sponsor. Victor Rodriguez is the manager of the Pompton Plains branch. He comes with a group of folks, and they have a good time with us. Atlantic Health Chilton Medical Center is a 4-year sponsor. They bring a big truck that you can see from a mile away. So that's a lot of fun. The Chamber Chamber of Commerce is a sponsor. We're members, and it's great to have them with us. Rita's Ice is a 4-year sponsor, even through different ownerships. Christina by Design, which is right next to Rita's Ice down on the Turnpike in Pequannock.
Yes.
And Birch Tree Psych was a sponsor as well. So, we have really blessed, as I say, to have all of those people helping us out.
And these are all places that everybody in the local town frequents. This isn't, if you're in Pequannock, Rita's, places like Rita's,
Right.
Shamrock Music, right? Shamrock used to be on North Pompton Turnpike. They moved a couple years back. Right. But these are all places that when you're in the area, you visit, you go to a daily.
Yeah.
If it's the summertime, 9 and 10, you'll see a line outside of Rita's. They can't wait to get their ice cream,
That's right. The same is true at PrideFest, because they always come with their stuff at PrideFest.
I mean, Rita's is pretty good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And then when you talk about Shamrock School of Music, how many kids within town for generations now, right? For generations, because Randy has been around for, like I said, I've been in town for over 15 years. He's been around, and even I had my concerns. I will tell you, during 2020, right, during the pandemic, I looked at Shamrock School of Music and I was like, how are these guys are going to be able to kind of maintain it?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, if you're teaching somebody, you have to be in a one-on-one.
Give you an idea just how successful Shamrock is. They provide music at PrideFest all day long. At one act after another, different singing groups from kids through adults, and they're all students of Shamrock. But the music is really good. I mean, it's really kind of incredible what they do. So and that kind of is the stage, if you will. We're at what's called the lacrosse field at Greenview Park.
Okay.
And we set the stage up, and then we have the food trucks and a picnic area, in between the food trucks, and then all of the booths, all the craft,
all the vendors, right?
And the vendor booths, yeah. But the music all day long really is the center point of the whole thing,
But that's beautiful. I mean, when I
Yeah.
see Shamrock because we do the town street fair and everything like that too.
Yep.
So whenever I see Shamrock and I see, it's different generations of kids going up there performs, adults going up to perform.
Yep.
It really is, and you're giving the kids first off such a creative space to be themselves,
Yeah.
right? And to every single performer that goes up there has such a level of courage that's like you're performing in front of your hometown,
Yeah.
and you're performing in front of your friends, your parents, your neighbors, and you're out there, and like it's such a beautiful thing to highlight. So I just want to give their roses to Shamrock.
No
School of
kidding.
Music,
And as a former first tenor of a doo-wop and oldies group, would you
Okay.
believe, the fear, the butterflies of performing are there. It doesn't matter how many times you perform, the butterflies are always there until you start,
Yes.
and then something kind of takes over, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, when you're on stage for those for the artists,
Yep.
right? Because
Yep.
I've hit a few stages plenty of times. I've done the New York Puerto Rican Day Parade. I was in Webster
Okay.
Hall. I've done plenty of shows and performances in my career.
Yeah.
You're completely right. You sit there, you're nervous until it's your time to go up, and I don't believe there's one performer in the world that's like doesn't have those jitters, because
Right.
every show is different.
Yep.
You don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And you hope all the equipment is working right,
Yeah.
because there's been times where it's like we're gonna have to do it without it.
Yep.
But you just kind of turn around and then when it's your time to go, it's like you said, you just all that fear steps aside. You step forward,
Yeah. It's really an amazing kind of thing. Yeah.
and then your adrenaline comes
Yeah.
right out
Yeah,
there.
right. Yeah.
It's the rush.
So yeah, the music is it's so much fun to see all of those, especially the kids, and
Yes.
families come to see their kids, which is great. We have food trucks, of course, and
Mhm.
from town, is Jersey Johnny's has been there all 4 years, and Jersey Johnny's is down on the
Yeah,
turnpike.
to the end of the turnpike,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
before you cross the bridge.
Yeah, and I mean, his burgers and
Hot dogs.
hot dogs are great, but everyone will tell you there is no better French fries than from Jersey Johnny's.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah, incredible French fries. And Empanada Times is always with us, and Empanada Times is they have a restaurant on Main Street in Lincoln Park,
Okay.
but they also have a food truck. And the couple that own Empanada Times are the nicest people you would ever want to meet. So it's always fun to see them, and of course their empanadas are fantastic.
Now,
so-
which kind I'll ask, because I've tried plenty of different empanadas in my time, right?
Yep,
What's your favorite type of empanada?
I like spicy.
Spicy, okay.
Yeah, and I like the beef empanadas.
Do you put the little green sauce
Yeah,
inside
oh
of
yeah,
it?
yeah.
See, you have to know about empanadas. If they don't, the moment you say the green sauce in there, I don't
Yep.
know what it's properly called. I think it's salsa verde is what they call it,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
And that just translates to green sauce. But it's something that, like, it's the right kind of spice.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm here to start you on fire. It's like, no, I'm here to give it that little extra kick.
Right. And of course, Rita's Ice has been with us for 4 years as well. It's great to see them. And we have some other trucks, but those are the mainstays. Those are the ones most important to us because they're from town.
Yes.
Or at least from the area.
Well, being from town, that's really what,
It's all about.
that's what it's all
Yeah,
about. And
yeah.
I feel like even then, I talk to some of my neighbors as the town changes,
Yep.
and they're just kind of like, we're just so concerned about losing the little town feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I know all things change. It's inevitable. All things change.
Yeah.
But, I think when you build up such a good foundation, I think it lasts longer.
Sure.
That's really
Sure.
what it is. And, starting Propel off 5 years ago, right? And you have the immediate staples of our community
Mm-hmm.
involved.
Yep.
And the fact that you have like these pillars involved, people know. People know Shamrock. People know Rita's. They're like, this is where we're at.
And it kind of gives them pause. Say, well, wait a minute. If all of those organizations are supporting them, maybe I should rethink,
Exactly.
where I am on that front. Yeah.
Well, you should want to. I think the idea of being open-minded is the key here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the
exactly.
key. It may not be for you. It may not be for me, right? but are they okay?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we kind of miss that, especially when it comes to the youth.
Yep. We also have craft vendors at PrideFest, uh, and dozens of them. Really, at one point we had as many as over 60
Wow.
vendors. Yeah. And it's jewelry and from maple syrup and local artwork. Tom Kozell from town is an artist, and he's every year he's with us, does beautiful stuff, and it's great, to have them with us. And I always talk to the vendors at the end of the day, and how'd you guys do? I hope you did well, and so on.
Yes.
And the how much they make depends on the day and depends on the weather, and how many people are there, and so on. But every vendor will tell me, we really love this event because the people are so nice. So again, the kindness thing is there. It permeates the air somehow,
Yeah.
which is nice. You know, for the past couple years, Reverend Dave from the First Reformed Church has
Okay.
done an invocation,
Nice.
and it's his words are beautiful, really, and he focuses on kindness. And he's done a fantastic job. And to have the First Reformed Church, which is a venerable institution in town,
Yes, it
to
is.
have them participate is really an honor to have them with us. And the mayor or someone from the town council will come and
Okay.
read the June Pride Proclamation. We've had one every year for Pride Fest, and someone from an official from the town will come and read it from the stage, which is great.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah. And participating organizations in town, it's a long list, really. I mean, we have the Teachers Association, the Public Library, the First Aid Squad comes. They come with equipment and their on-call staff, and we have a special spot for them under the trees. Because
Nice.
if it's hot, we want to keep them nice and cool.
Keep them happy. You want to keep them happy and keep
Yeah,
them cool.
yeah.
Yes.
And they have a way to leave the event kind of from the backside,
Okay.
in case they have to go, on call.
Yes, to help.
But the chief actually is a neighbor of mine, and I know how dedicated he is to that organization, and of course, Rescue Squad is an all volunteer
Yes.
organization, and I have some sense running Propel. I have some sense of the challenge the chief has, Chief Lyons has running the Rescue Squad. So we're delighted to have them with us. Who else do we? The Pequannock Environmental Commission
Okay.
is with us, and they bring like a game, and
Little game
have
board
little
to play.
giveaways
Okay.
that they have, which is nice. The Boys and Girls Club
Yes.
is there, and they do sand art or face painting or whatever with the little kids, which is great. The Adopt, which is what Adopt is, Animal Dignity Organization of Pequannock.
Okay.
So it's great to have them. Newbridge Services, which is an incredible organization. Based
they're right
right here
across,
in yeah. Cedar Crest.
Cedar
comes.
Crest, if you don't
Yep.
know Cedar Crest, I
Yep,
mean,
yep.
that's where most of the kids, like, for, just for Cedar Crest to highlight them as well. When my daughters started working in high school,
Yep.
they actually have a bus that picks them up from there, drives them into work,
Yeah.
gets them there on time.
Yep.
It allows the kids to, first off, it allows to build that connection between the generations.
Well,
At
you
the same
talk about a
time.
learning experience for young kids,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and it's very difficult to also, they understand Cedar Crest that you're going to have, I would assume that they would understand that, yeah, the kids are there for maybe 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
but, you're teaching them responsibility.
Yep.
They get a paycheck
Yep.
and they learn respect at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, and they walk in with that, wow, this is kind of like a job. And the challenge most of the time when it comes to kids anyway is, how am I going to get there?
Right. Yeah.
So the fact that they have a bus that literally takes you and says, hey, we're gonna pick you up, so don't worry about how you're gonna get there.
Yep.
We're gonna drop you off. Your parents pick you up, yes. But like, this is how it goes,
Yeah. One of the interesting things, the Friedman family in town does the Little Free Library booth at PrideFest. all at their own expense, and they give away books, designed for PrideFest, and it's an amazing thing, really, that they do, and it's been all 4 years.
Nice.
So they're always with us, and of course the High School Gay Straight Alliance is there with a booth, and I will never forget my conversation with the kids from the GSA when we were first contemplating doing a Pride Fest. And we just said to them, what would you guys want from Pride? What would you want us to do? And this young person made eye contact with me and said, just give us a safe place to be, which I thought was, wow. And so we took that on rather seriously, if you will, and we created a section of booths that we called Pride Central.
Okay.
And in the center of Pride Central is the Gay Straight Alliance booth, and we surround them with people that they obviously know are supportive and our friends. So the library is there, the teachers union is there. Garden State Equality is a state organization that will come, and
Okay.
the Boys and Girls Club is there. So the kids that are at the GSA booth, they know that they're surrounded by friends, and like I say, that's a moment in my life that I'll never forget. Just give us a safe place to be.
And you have to think about, I think what I really want to kind of like hunker down on a little bit, to use that term,
Yeah.
is really the fact that, like, I want everybody listening and everybody watching to understand something very important. We're talking about kids saying, hey, we would really like a safe place to be 5 years ago.
Right.
So this isn't the 90s, where, let's say, gays, and it was like this whole 80s and 90s where it's a whole thing. It's been over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So for any one of our kids, it doesn't matter their orientation at all, to say, hey, we want a safe place to be. As a parent, all of us could relate to that. Because whenever our kids are going out, we're hoping that they're safe.
Exactly. And it suggests that when kids from the gay community go out into the world, they don't feel safe.
That in part kind of brings us into some of the obstacles
Yeah.
that Propel faces,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I want you to talk about some of the obstacles that you faced in getting Propel going and really kind of bringing it to the community. And it's crazy because we're talking about these obstacles in 2020. We're talking about 2025.
Yep.
We're talking about these obstacles.
Yeah.
And not to, play the decade card, but I could see having a challenge in the 70s and the 80s and people being like, but it's,
Yeah.
we already passed 2K. We're here.
Right.
So can you talk about some of the obstacles, and not just talk about some of the obstacles, but how you were able to overcome them?
First of all, funding is always a challenge, which is why we appreciate our sponsors so much. But I guess, an example of some of the challenges that we face is one of the things that we have done since we started PrideFest. We also started a campaign to put pride flags at the municipal building in the month of June. And in order to do that, first of all, there's like a planting area, if you will, a garden area in the middle of the parking lot at the municipal building.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you actually have to get permission from the First Reformed Church that, interestingly enough, owns the property, and the town council.
Yes.
Because it's the municipal building's parking lot. So we went, to the First Reformed Church and said, what do you guys think? This is what we'd like to do. We'd just like to put pride flags for the month of June. What do you think? And they said, sure, we're absolutely, go ahead and do it. They wanted to know, initially, who are you guys? What's your mission? What are you trying to do? And we eventually formed the relationship to result in Dave doing invocations at PrideFest.
So you see the First Reformed Church,
Yep.
which is, highlighted on our main street in town,
Yeah.
said it was okay.
They said, great, go ahead.
So understand that. So it's a green light from the church.
Yep. and then went to the town council, and they asked us to limit it to just 1 week. And we were kind of, well, okay, but why? First Reformed Church says that they're fine with the month. And I think, at the end of the day, I think the town council just made a political decision, because they have gotten some pretty aggressive negative feedback of having pride flags in the at the municipal building parking lot, because now it represents the community. There are some people in town that just don't approve.
But it's only, it's a flag.
Yep.
It's only, it goes up for a month.
Yeah.
It's not meant to offend anybody.
Right.
It's really not meant. It's not.
Like I say, the mission is to find a way to convince people that the pride flag really does represent kindness.
Yes.
That's kind of, where we want to go, But hey, the town council said, look, we'd like you to limit it to a week. And okay.
So if it was called, let's say, a kindness flag.
Yeah, maybe that would be different.
Maybe that would be different. So, next time we'll just say, hey, listen, this is a kindness flag.
Yeah, yeah.
And we want to wave a kindness flag that just says kindness
yeah.
for a month. Is that okay?
Yeah. And, I had a conversation with a lady at the our booth at the Hoedown.
Okay.
And she came over to the booth, and she had no idea who we were, what we were all about. And, and I told her, and I could see by the look on her face that there was kind of a disapproving look on her face, And she said, I just don't understand. Why did you have to take the rainbow away from us?
The rainbow away? No one took the rainbow away
colors
from anybody.
Of the pride flag.
Really?
And that was her take on it. That the whole pride movement took the rainbow away from the universe somehow.
I mean,
which I thought was an interesting kind of challenge for us. How do we overcome that? And again, I keep coming back to to kindness. We have to focus on kindness.
Like, not for nothing, no one took. You can't take a rainbow from somebody. Okay, that thing.
It's kind of hard.
You don't see us sitting over there, stop eating Lucky Charms because there's a rainbow on the box.
Yeah, right.
You don't stop eating certain ice cream from Rita's because it's rainbow colored.
Right.
Right.
And there are other truly important things to people that happen in the month of June, and that have always been celebrated, if you will, in the month of June, and we don't want to change that. The Pride's intent of June as Pride Month doesn't mean that June can't be other things as well.
Yes, of course.
We just want to add to the
add to the month,
to the idea. Yeah,
in many ways, when I always see it as an opportunity to learn.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. It's an opportunity to learn. This is one of those things where it's just kind of like, oh, okay, this represents kindness.
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be. No one stole your rainbow. This represents kindness.
Right. That's right.
And I find that very interesting, because I'm just kind of like, that's one viewpoint on it, right?
Yeah.
And then I will often challenge the person and say, well, why is that your viewpoint on it? Just challenge it. It's not, I'm not telling you, no one's telling you, no, this is a kindness flag and you have to see it as a kindness flag. And that no one's doing that.
Yeah.
Someone's just curious to say, well, why do you feel like somebody took your rainbow away from you?
Yeah. And it's only by example, I think, that you can change those hearts somehow.
When I went to high school, there was those that were, and mind you, this was 20 years ago, so it's still a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I remember being like, okay, if they're gay, they're happy.
Yeah.
Let them be. Nobody's bothering them.
Yep.
Why? I was like, are they bothering you?
Yeah.
No? I was just like, then go about your life.
What's the problem? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I was always taught the golden rule, which was, do unto others as you would have done unto you.
Yep.
And I live by that.
Yeah.
And it's just that simple.
Obviously, we respected the town council's decision, and we put the pride flags up. And I actually go every morning after I drop my grandkids off at school. I go to the parking lot and make sure that all the flags are standing straight, and make sure that they're dressed every day, which is just part of the deal, But I think it's important too to point out that the township has been very supportive of Propel and of PrideFest. I
Okay.
mean, in order to put an event together, you have to deal with a lot of groups in town.
Yes.
There's the police department, Parks and Rec, DPW, the health department. I mean, DPW. If you see the stage at PrideFest, it's a big deal. The stage is very large. There's a big tent that goes over the top of it, and it takes the guys hours to put it together. And interestingly enough, the stage is owned by the Chamber of Commerce, stored on township property. So in order to get the stage, you have to get chamber approval, and then you have to get DPW's time, organized and
Yeah,
scheduled to
to
put
put
it
it
up.
together.
They're there. They say, yeah, we'll be there on Friday. It's on Saturday. Yeah, let's set it up on Friday. They're there every time, and I have a blast with those guys. They are so much fun. They're like a laugh riot. So I always look forward to the Friday before PrideFest. And the health department, because you need to coordinate with the health department because you have food trucks.
Yes.
You have food being done, and there's been a couple times where we brought in a food truck. We didn't know who they were, and the health department official came to me and said, "You can't let these guys stay. This food truck, then they have to go. Sorry, but they just don't pass muster."
Yeah.
And there was another one where, hey, there's a vendor here. They're selling cookies. They don't have a health permit, And I said, well, yeah, they're like prepackaged. She said, well, okay, but they still have to have a health permit. She said, I tell you what, I don't want to force them to leave. So I just told them, as long as they fill out an application and when we get it within a couple days, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So they're supportive. They're helpful. Parks and Rec, any questions I have, they're always there. So I really can't say enough about the support that we get from the people that work for the town.
Yeah.
And that's been great to see. So, we kind of accept the town council has its role, and it is obviously a political kind of thing. So they make their decisions that are best for them, but at the same time, they don't stop all the folks that work for them to do the right thing, and
Well,
to do the good job.
I
So
want to
we
just
appreciate that.
I want to highlight something there too. So you have a lot of groups and organizations in support.
Yep.
I will say this, and this isn't. I would say this only on one pretense when it comes to politics,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because this isn't all about politics here. But when you get, when you hold office because you're voted by the people,
Yep.
and your constituents, right? Those are the ones that you're listening to,
Yeah.
right? If you hold office and you start going me, you're not leading.
Yeah.
It takes a good person to really go in and really listen to their constituents
Yeah.
and then turn around and say, hey, you know what? Even if it's not for me, this is what the people who voted me in
Yep.
want.
Yep.
And it does take a big person. It does take a big
does.
person to turn around and say, hey, listen, we have to put our differences aside because this is what we need.
Right.
This is what the people who supported me to come into office
Yeah. Yeah.
want.
Yep.
And so, let's find common ground here.
And we always go to a town council meeting after PrideFest just to thank them for the support we get from all of those groups, because it's important. Obviously, it takes a lot to put an event like that
Yes.
together, and you can't get it done without help from all kinds of people.
Yeah.
So it's been great. We also do 2 scholarships a year
Nice.
that are fun to talk about. 2 $500 scholarships for the seniors at the high school, and one of them is the Kindness Scholarship. And in order to win the Kindness Scholarship, you write a 500-word essay, and we get 30, 40 essays from the school, and it's really difficult to select one
Yes.
to win. But as I think about the reading those essays, it really makes you feel good about that younger generation, and what they will bring to our world as they become adults. Because some of the thoughts that they have on why kindness is important to them tells you that there's a lot of good thoughts coming out of that generation, you know. So that old guy's attitude of these kids today,
Yes.
I don't share it. I have great hope for those kids and what they will bring, to America. And the other scholarship that we do is our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Scholarship,
Yes.
because that is our mission, to promote that kind of opportunity in America. And it has fallen on difficult times these
Yes.
last few years, but it's still important. And the DEI scholarship goes to the student that best embodies, if you will, Propel's mission. So that's and I think an important thing for us to do to be, our involvement in the community,
Yes.
if you will, and we do, we donate. We don't have a lot of money to throw around, and we tend to donate it when we have it to
Okay.
organizations that are important to our cause. And for example, we donate $500 to the high school FBLA club because they offer the opportunity to put banners on the football field fence. So we thought, okay, that's a pretty important thing to do. And the FBLA does they compete aggressively in state and national, tournaments.
Yes.
And they do a great job. We've donated $1,000 to the Trevor Project, which is the Gay Straight Alliance's preferred charity. We donate money to Newbridge Services for the incredibly good work that they do. That I can't say enough about Newbridge and the work that they do. It's amazing, really. We donate to the Boys and Girls Club, and you only have to spend a few minutes at the Boys and Girls Club to see how dedicated they are to kids in town. And of course, we donate to the Rescue Squad. Not only because they're a volunteer group and can always use the money, but because the having worked with the chief and seeing them at PrideFest every year, it's always fun to find a way to support them. We did meals one time. We did a hot meals to first responders during COVID, and with the help of Tavern 5. And Tavern 5 didn't charge us anywhere near as much as they could have for those meals, so that was
There's
helpful.
always a little cost to business.
Yeah,
There's a
but
little cost.
that was helpful for sure. And we did a campaign a couple years ago. We went to the school librarians and said, "Are there books that you guys would like to have? Give us a list of books that we might get, that we could donate to the libraries." And so we did. We from all 5 of the school librarians. Put that list together and got the books and donated them. So those are the kinds of things that we kind of look forward to doing.
This is why I liked speaking with you and understanding Propel
Mm-hmm.
is that, and I saw this even when I was a kid growing up, that a lot of the news that gets highlighted is often negative news,
Yeah.
right? Even as a young adult, I thought to myself, all right, well, that one bad thing happened, right? Which was terrible. It was one bad thing that happened.
Yep.
But what about the hundreds of good things that happen? Like, unfortunately, okay, let's say, we'll talk about high school,
Yep.
right? There are hundreds and hundreds of graduations of great kids every year that all these good things happen.
Yeah.
How often do you hear about that?
Not often enough.
Not often enough.
Yeah.
But the kid who went out on a Friday night, did something wasn't supposed to, ended up, crashing into a tree, that's going to be highlighted
Yeah.
for the next 5 years.
Yeah. Bad news is always first.
And it's always amazing to me that that's a thing, because I'm just kind of like, I'm a firm believer in like what you put out,
Yeah.
right? So if you're watching, and I advise people, even those on their phones and everything like that, to be mindful of what you're watching.
There is a lot of everyday good news in Pequannock Township. There really is. And we started a campaign about a year and a half ago, and we call it Did You Know? And the purpose of Did You Know is to put out little snippets of good news from the community and to release it into social media. you know,
Yes.
there's a couple social media pages that people look to, of the town. There's one called Pequannock Township and another one called We Are Pequannock.
Okay.
And there's others, but those are two that people will look to, and those are the first places we go with our Did You Know campaign, and we've put out now almost 100 of them,
You
I
see?
think, and we put out several for the library, a couple for the rescue squad, Scribble Garden from down in Pequannock,
Yeah.
and Myronic Kitchen, and Linda D'Amico's dance studio, um, Shop the Town, which is an annual event now in town to promote, shop local kind of thing.
Yes.
Really successful organization or event that the owner of Scribble Garden was, chiefly responsible for putting together, along with the chamber. Defying Gravity.
Yes.
If you want a great cup of coffee, wow, Defying Gravity has incredibly good coffee, and they're down, beautiful little shop down on the Turnpike in Pequannock.
Yes.
And the owner of Defying Gravity is the new president of the chamber.
Oh, excellent. That's
So yeah,
excellent news.
yeah,
Yes.
done them for the food pantry, and we actually did one for New Jersey Veterans Network.
You see?
We're kind of honored to have that opportunity, and we did one recently for Sesame Workshop.
All right.
Because our own Maria Shanley is associated with a children's television workshop, and brought this idea. She said, "Hey, there's this thing out there. You got to put it out there because it's it's a resource for young families, So yeah, so we did a Did You Know for that. We've done them for Parks and Rec, and we're always looking for good news snippets. It doesn't really matter what the good news is. It could be a fun interchange you had with a customer.
That's all it is.
So for anybody listening, if you have a good news idea, let us know, because we really have a lot of fun.
We want to
putting those
spread
out
more
there.
good news.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and this all falls down to, and I want to bring it over here now, because one thing about getting good news
Hmm.
is that it's good for your it's good for your mental health,
Yep.
right? And that's one key aspect that Propel is highlighting and working on. So tell us how Propel is helping with mental health.
We started a campaign called the QR to Mental Health, and we got the idea actually doing a walk for the stigma-free organization, and we were talking to one of the guys that was there that represented one of the mental health organizations that was sponsoring the walk. And we were talking about the challenge for the kids from the GSA and the challenge in the LGBTQ community with mental health challenges. And he said, you should gather those resources and connect them to a QR code and get them out there.
Yes.
And okay. So we started to do that. And there were two big challenges on that front. One was, how do we contact these organizations and get their approval? Because we're not going to do it we're not going to list them if we don't have their approval.
Correct.
And can we use your logo and and all of those kinds of things? And also, how do we do the technology? I mean, we have a website, but the challenge of doing a web page that has the links to phone numbers and websites, and that is organized in such a way that that it does all the right things to do, is expensive.
Yes.
And lo and behold, Maria Shanley's husband Patrick is our webmaster, and he put the page together for free. I mean, he took time. He's a busy professional guy, and took the time to do it. And it took us more than 2 years to put together a grouping of 80, more than 80 now, local, regional, state, and national mental health providers in 18 categories of need. Because one of the things, the conclusions that we came to, is that we want to protect, obviously, and support the LGBTQ community, but we
Yes.
don't want to limit this idea only to the LGBTQ community. We want it to be for everyone.
Yes.
So that's where the 18 categories come in. So when you come to the site, the first thing that when you click on the there's the logo, when you scan that QR code, it will bring you to the page, and it will bring you to a suicide warning page. If you have suicide ideas, call this number now, and then you have to X out of that in order to get to the rest of the detail.
Yes.
One of the things that we were told as we investigate, this is the first thing you have to do. If you're going to do something on mental health, you have to front it with a suicide, page. So you X out of that page and then get to the 18 categories of need, and they range from addiction and Black and African mental health resources, crisis hotlines, dementia services, domestic violence, family counseling. We have a group for support for geriatric support, grief and bereavement, which includes our Scanlan's, who does a great job on that front. Of course, there's LGBTQ and a special emphasis on veteran support. Because we have a friend of Propel who is a disabled veteran and provides, these are the groups that you want to add to that, and get those included. So they're all on, a dedicated web page. It's easily accessed by scanning a QR code. And the objective, really very simply, the objective is to make seeking mental health as stigma-free as going to the doctor for the flu. Or, if you broke your arm, you'd go to the ER and get it fixed. You wouldn't just suffer with it
That's
for
correct.
days or years or whatever. And we want to, you want that attitude to be the same. You want to find a way to make that attitude the same, because having in our view anyway, having a mental health difficulty is no different than getting the flu or breaking your arm. I mean, go get it fixed.
That's very true. I mean, you have to work on that.
Yeah.
And I think that, I know this may be new for a lot of people when we talk about like mental health.
Yep.
But, mental health, we've seen it luckily within the last few years really has come to the forefront, where people have been saying like, hey, like, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're not okay, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I know that, that's a big break to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to note that people are not alone with their struggles that they go through.
Yep. Yep.
I think when you could find, like you said, with addiction, there are people who struggle with addiction every day. That addiction is not, specifically for one community.
Right.
It's not like this is just for the LGBT. No. Families struggle with addiction.
Yep.
There's plenty of people that struggle. Taking one's life. All these things happen. Grief. We all experience grief at one point or another.
Yeah.
But if you're never taught or even ways how to cope and understand of what you're feeling,
Yep.
let alone what you're going through.
Yep.
So this is something that's very important. I want you to hold that up one more time if you can, because it's something as simple as a QR code. And the reason why it's a QR to mental health, it's not limited to one community, it's for all.
It's for all.
And that ties back into kindness.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Because it's kind of like, oh, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what that person's going through, whether you're a young teenager starting high school or whether you're, a senior who's, kids just went on, maybe you're alone.
Yep. And the challenges in trying to bring that mission that, that make mental health stigma free are how do you get the word out, and we've done a mailing to all 6,500 plus households. Old media, I know, but still at least a way to get, the QR code out there. And of course we do these, coasters. We thought, okay, this is a pretty simple way to, to get the word out.
It is.
And relatively inexpensive, we've given out hundreds of these so far, at different town events, the Oktoberfest, the rescue squad, the police night out. We gave them out there at the Hoedown. So every chance we get, this is what we focus on is giving these things out. But it's not enough somehow, Um, and we do have, support from the town. We've presented the notion to the town council, and boy, they said, "Well, that's a great idea. Good luck with that." But the town, it's not something that's sponsored by the town, so we don't have resources from the town. We went to Atlantic Health and said, "Hey, guys, what do you guys think? Could you support this?" And they came back and said, "Well, if we don't have complete control over the website, we really can't. It's okay. You could list us if you want, but in order for us to take it on, we'd have to take complete control of it." And they really didn't want to, So we've reached out for
So
for support, but we don't quite have it yet.
So you said something right there, support.
Yeah.
And this is how I want to bring it in. You're talking about resources and you're talking about support
Mm-hmm.
for an amazing cause. Not a good cause, for an amazing cause. So my question is, if I was a business owner or just a person,
Mm-hmm.
how can we help bring to the forefront QR for mental health, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how can we support Propel? What's the best way to do it?
Distribution, first of all, we have gone to the business community with window clings, like vinyl clings that have this, look just like this,
Mhm.
and put this on your front door, and they're willing to do that, and which is a good thing. Um, but I think we need to find a way to promote the existence of here. There's resources here, and we don't misunderstand, by the way, that finding mental health and getting mental health resources is not the easiest thing to do in America. It's expensive sometimes, and but at the same time, at least it's a starting point,
Yes.
So. What can businesses do? Well, first of all, we think that we'd like to be able to fund a massive social media campaign. That, I think, is the way for us to do this, because I think through social media, it's nice to have QR codes on coasters, but if we got the site available for an easy click, on social media. I think that would be a way to get it constantly in front of people's faces,
Yes.
So that when the thought strike, gee, my brother could use some help, or man, Dad's not been feeling really good, I'm going to send this to him, and maybe it'll help him find some help.
Yes.
That kind of stuff, but we just don't have the money to do that, nor the expertise, to be honest.
So where can people donate if they did want to help?
At our website, propelpequannock.org, propelpeq.org actually is the site, and there's a donate capability there. We have a Venmo. What is it called? A Venmo.
We have
account?
we have a Venmo
account.
account. Now I know that this is me putting a little bit on the spot, but I'm gonna go ahead. What would be your ideal goal if everybody watching and say, hey, we're gonna hit this number? What would be a good number to try to reach?
I think we need as much as $20,000 to $30,000 to get it done right.
Okay. So and if you think about it, you said you mailed out over 6,500 flyers, right?
Yeah,
So what we need about $5 from everybody in town.
that would do it.
There you go. So if you're listening, we need everybody to go to the website. What's the website one more time?
propelpeq.org.
Okay, and then we need you to donate $5. $5 within the town. Don't break your head about anything else. Give up a sandwich. We need $5 to go and donate. And if everybody in the town just donates $5, you could be kind. You could donate more if you want. But if everybody goes to town and just donates $5, we can hit that goal. Just that easy, right?
That would do it.
That will do it. Okay, so we have a challenge. We have it for our community, because in our community, I believe that we care about mental health.
Sure.
I believe that we care about our kids. I believe that we care about our neighbors. We do have a couple sour apples. We're gonna leave the sour apples. You don't have to donate the sour apples, but but the rest, yes. And if you want to donate more, that's fine. But it's just as simple, and that's how we could really bring everybody together.
Sounds good.
Paul, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul.